Behind the Buzz. Joining us today is Paul from Nextleaf. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So Paul, for our viewers who might not be familiar with Nextleaf, could you kind of give us a basic understanding of what you guys do?
Over the last 2.5 years, our company's been focused on developing disruptive industrial scale extraction, purification, and formulation of THC and CBD. We really believe that the future of the cannabis industry will be through infused products. We have a portfolio of 8 issued and over 28 pending patents around the production of high purity cannabinoid distillate, which is the tasteless, odorless THC or CBD molecule that is the precursor of all the infused products.
So tasteless and odorless, is that super important for people who kind of want CBD infused products?
Absolutely, and what you see with products that you get in unregulated or less regulated markets is that there'll be a lot of cannabis drinks and edibles that are infused with a less refined molecule. The issues that you have is taste and smell, and sort of like any consumer packaged good, for a product to really be popular and sell and get out to the mainstream, it's got to taste good.
Yes.
And the effects, if it's an intoxicating substance like alcohol or cannabis that's used in a legal adult use market, those effects have to take effect quickly. And so I think as a company, we've been really focused on developing that underlying technology that's going to really empower the production and commercialization of all these products.
The cannabis world has been growing so much in the last few years. How do you see Nextleaf kind of expanding and growing in the next couple of months, maybe the next year?
Great question. So since when we started as a company in early 2017, we've been an R&D focused company, again, developing this intellectual property portfolio, developing our patents. We've recently got our facility licensed for commercial scale production of cannabinoids here in Canada. Our business model and our strategy has been to focus on the Canadian market, which is obviously the first legal G20 country to legalize adult use cannabis products.
Yes.
So for us, we're focused in our own backyard. In Canada, we can service the entire market, as well as due to the fact that we're federally legal, we are able to export product from Canada into global markets. And I think Canada geographically will have a big lead until the United States legalizes cannabis federally. So from now until then, we think that Canadian companies like Nextleaf Solutions have a big opportunity to develop intellectual property and supply to the medical market globally, as well as our legal adult use market here in Canada.
Yeah, and are you guys looking to expand when the US kind of legalizes everything?
Yeah, the US is the big, that's the big prize that everyone's focused on.
Right.
For us, we've been very strategic, is that we said we won't go into the US until CBD and THC are legal federally.
Of course.
And the reason that we believe that is when we look at some of the big M&A deals, you look at Constellation Brands, you look at Altria, those two companies had paid a combined $7 billion to acquire effectively controlling stakes of Canopy and Kronos Group. We think those two deals would not have gotten done if those large, big tobacco, big alcohol had really believed that the U.S. was close to legalizing cannabis federally. And I think being in Canada offers us a very, very unique opportunity that American companies don't have the luxury, and that is operating in a federally legal jurisdiction that allows us to bring in capital and to look at partnerships with Fortune 500 companies that want to test market CBD and THC infused products in jurisdictions that are federally legal, and arguably the most well-regulated cannabis market in the world, which I think Canada has.
And for investors looking for new opportunities, what can they really pinpoint in Nextleaf that would make them want to invest in the company?
It's a great question. I think over the last 5 years, what we've seen is a lot of companies that talk a lot about vertical integration and focusing on growing cannabis, processing cannabis, making products, selling products, being in multiple states, multiple jurisdictions. The problem with that strategy is we don't think it works. And when you look at other startups in other industries, you just don't see a lot of startups that try to do it all and do it all well. So we have really taken the approach that if you believe that cannabis-infused products are the future, I think Nextleaf offers exposure to investors that believe in focusing on one part of the supply chain. We think the extraction and purification part of the supply chain is the highest margin currently in the industry. that's where our focus is, and we've developed intellectual property and issued patents around what we believe is the most efficient method to turn low quality dried cannabis biomass into a high purity, standardized, tasteless, odorless molecule. So we think that moving forward, the big opportunities, these cannabis 2.0 products, and it is in beverage alcohol, it is in nutraceutical-based products, and it's these non-smokables that our patents really demonstrate the ability to go out there and service that at a low cost per molecule advantage. And again, really providing turnkey solutions to an industry that is now figuring out how do they get a product to market in a new jurisdiction that we see across the globe as other markets legalize. So we really think that our intellectual property portfolio allows us to play globally by issuing licensing IP to other countries and other producers and other jurisdictions.
Right.
Again, our focus is Canada, and we're just really excited for 2020 and now our opportunity to start commercializing our IP. We recently had our dedicated processing facility licensed. For us now, it's all about transitioning from an R&D based business that's been focused on developing IP and now into being able to put some big commercial numbers. And when we look at the whole space, we see that the Canadian extraction companies have really outperformed the overall sector. We think that our friends at MediPharm Labs and Valens have really validated the processing-focused business model. Both those companies are a year and a half ahead of us in the licensing and the commercialization process, but we really like our odds and where we stand with our technology and our patent portfolio. So we're just looking forward to getting out there and being able to put some big numbers onto the board here.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot to look for in the next coming months for NextLeaf. And thank you for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
course.
Just very excited to come in, and we obviously trade in Canada as oils on the CSE and then trade as Oil FF on the QB in the United States.
Awesome. Well, this has been Behind the Buzz.